Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this special edition of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And joining us for the very first time, hopefully repeat guest, we'll see how this goes and everything, but I'd love to introduce you all to my cousin, Ashley, last name did. So welcome to the show, Ashley.
Hi.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. The kids are cheering, and that's apropos because that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. For the first time ever, really, we've had the opportunity to get involved with a Disney first-time mom. Like, we've obviously talked to other people who are moms and everything like that, but it's been a long time since I've been around somebody who's a first-time mom there on the spot. And
with the baby.
With
Not
the baby,
with,
yes.
but with a baby.
Right. So, like, of course, I'm like, oh, this is great content. I have to hijack my cousin's life and throw her into my YouTube shtick. But also, I do kind of feel like there's mom resources out there. There's the moms panel for Disney planning and stuff. That's a lot of smoke, mirrors, fluff, and magic and bullshit. And I don't know if we can emphasize enough that it's kind of hard out there for the moms, you know? And so I wanted to explore some of that stuff. And I really wanted to like give a real perspective, I guess. So Ashley, thank you so much for joining us.
You are so welcome.
Now, I do want to throw out some credentials of yours so that viewers know that she is a vet, okay? She is an annual pass holder. She is, at the very least, a beneficiary of DVC, if not an owner, right? Beneficiary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. And she is the recent recipient of a Black Pearl over at Trader Sam's. So,
it's true.
I mean, this is kind of a big deal.
Legit.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal.
I don't even drink that stuff. And I want the Black Pearl.
I
would order it and just give it to Amanda. But, you know.
Yeah. I have the regular white one. I would love a Black Pearl.
Stupid white
Very
ones.
exciting.
God. Anyway. All right. So let's get into being a mom, Ashley. Do we want to say names for the baby, or do you want to?
Yeah, we can. I'm going to end up saying his name, so we might as well.
Fair enough. All right. So baby Rhino, it made his first trip down to the parks. I guess about a week ago.
Yeah. So he just turned 7 months, right?
Yes, just turned 7 months. So he was 6 months on the trip, but closer to 7.
Wow. There's a bold move. There's a bold strategy. Let's talk about the most magical moments for you, because we got to witness a few of them, and it actually kind of invigorated me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. You know that my shtick is kind of like to be dour and down on Disney and everything like that, right? But there was a couple moments there where it kind of filled my heart a little bit. And like the Grinch, it grew 3 sizes. And I had to go to see the cardiologist, as a matter of fact, this week because of you for that. So I'm on many medication, but you know, I'll send you the bill.
Okay.
What to you was like the most magical moment?
Honestly, probably walking into Magic Kingdom for the first time, and it was more like Ryan doesn't know what's going on. It was very much just like Disney is mine and my husband's magical place, and bringing my son there, which I've dreamed of for so long. It was more like, it was a magical moment for me. For baby, not so much.
Well, what
He's indifferent.
He's indifferent. Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's okay though, because he may not remember all this stuff, but you know what? You will. And you have
meeting Mickey was magical too.
Was it? Okay. Where did you meet Mickey?
For the first time we met him at Town Square Theater.
Okay.
In Magic Kingdom.
I feel like that's the best place to meet Mickey for the first time. That's when he gets in his like real garb and everything like that, right? Not his.
He's in like his little magician outfit.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
I would say that's
But it was at
more or
Magic
less.
Kingdom.
Fancier. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
his
fancier.
tuxedo and everything, right?
It's
Yeah,
something
it's-
special.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a tuxedo, but it is a fancier.
I don't know.
outfit.
I'm not paying attention to the furries. It's just meh.
Oh my
Um,
God.
So okay, definitely meeting Mickey for the first time.
Hmm.
I would also say the one that I feel like stood out to me was him meeting Tigger dressed as Tigger.
Oh my
Yes,
God, yes.
that was super sweet.
I mean, that's the one that made.
I don't know
because
who loved it more, Riot or Tigger. Because Tigger
So-
was very excited.
Sarah was very excited. So I don't know if you guys even know this, but the cast member came up to me before Tigger came over to our table at Crystal Palace and said, Tigger's going to get a slice of birthday cake. And I'm like slightly defeated. I'm like, this child has a dirty diaper. I have got to get him out of here. But sure, Tigger, go get your slice of birthday cake. And then the cast member came back and said, just kidding. He wants to meet the baby now because we don't get very many Tigger babies. So Tigger was actually supposed to go get his slice of birthday cake and then came to meet Ryan,
Aw.
instead. Which was very
Oh.
special.
That was very, yes.
And
Ah.
Rhino's eyes just kind of lit up. And when I say lit up, guys, like in Terminator where you can see like the laser beams coming out of the eyeballs. Like that's how bright they were. I'm not saying that he's a robot, obviously.
No.
Right? Just
I don't think he's a robot.
No.
Okay. All right. Just had to make sure.
No.
But like he was so happy. And look, he's the happiest baby I've ever met in my life. He really
He's
is.
very happy.
It's creepy happy,
Yeah.
actually. Like he was only sad for like 2 seconds. And when I was holding him, and
Mhm.
the only other time I saw him fussy even was when he had to have his diaper changed. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can't with that kid. It's precious.
There were some other moments, but we can get into that later.
Of course. Absolutely. What attractions did you or were you able to take Ryan on?
So he went on People Mover was his first attraction, which was exactly what I wanted. So he did People Mover, he did Small World, he did basically like all the dark rides.
Okay.
Little Mermaid. At Epcot, he did Living with the Land, he did Figment.
Didn't I see a picture of y'all with him on Buzz?
Yes, he helped me on Buzz,
Did he?
which still wasn't great, but I did better than everybody else. So we'll say
That's actually impressive.
we'll
man.
give credit to the baby.
Listen, I think everybody knows that I'm hyper competitive when it comes to Buzz and Toy Story Mania, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And like Ashley is one who can give me a run for my money. Amanda has no idea what she's doing, but Ashley knows.
Well, I
Knows
know
what
what
to
I'm supposed to do. Can I actually do it? Not always.
It's why she can give me a run for my money, you guys. I'm telling you, she's awesome at it. So, well, there's not many like dark rides at Hollywood Studios that I feel like you can take him on.
Hollywood Studios was kind of a bust with him.
Was
Like
it?
there is
Okay.
not a lot that he can do. He did Mania. No, he didn't do Mania.
I was about to say, Jesus.
No, he did not do Mania. He did Mickey and Minnie's. He did that.
He did Mickey
Okay.
Minnie's. Okay.
Hmm. And Muppets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did he react to Muppets?
Introduced.
This is the one
he
thing I'm
liked-
disappointed I missed. So
I know, and we missed the pre-show, which was so sad.
Oh.
Like we really just don't even need to count that one. Just redo his first
Just do a
Muppet.
redo.
Redo. He hasn't seen it. I don't
it's fine.
cut that.
It doesn't
I mean,
count. We
it's-
didn't see the pre-show.
No, we didn't. We
it's
didn't see
incomplete.
Muppets.
Incomplete.
Yes,
Let's call
I
it
agree.
that. Y'all are both teachers, so you know that's a fair grade, I think. So
It is.
Um,
It is.
did you ever once consider going into Disney Junior?
No.
Oh, good, good. because those people are a little too handsy. So, and I know,
No.
yeah. Was there any other shows or anything like that that you felt like you could have done, or was that really like the big writer swap day for you guys?
Honestly, we didn't do a whole lot in Hollywood Studios at all. We did Tower of Terror. My mom doesn't ride Tower of Terror, so like that's important. My parents being on this trip and my brother and sister-in-law, like we couldn't have done Disney without them. I mean, we could have, but it was much smoother because
Oh,
we
believe
had
me,
a
that
whole bunch of extra hands on board.
believe me, that will be brought up here in just a little bit. I do
For sure.
want to make sure to give credit where credit's due sometimes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then I guess moving over to Animal Kingdom, was there a whole heck of a lot that you wanted to do with him? Was there a whole heck of a lot that he could do over there?
We did Tusker House for breakfast, which was amazing. Highly recommend. And then we did Avatar, we did Rider Swap for that.
Okay.
And then we did Festival of the Lion King. We would have done Safari with him, but wait times were horrendous. There were a
Sure.
lot of things in Animal Kingdom that we would have done, but honestly, the heat was getting to all of us real bad. And so
Well,
some
it is
things we
Africa
just
hot there.
decided, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, we didn't do much in Animal Kingdom at all.
Okay.
A lot that he could have done.
Fair enough. Like I was thinking, I don't know why the Finding Nemo puppet show popped into my head.
I wanted to do Finding Nemo. Timing just didn't work out.
It didn't work
Yeah.
out. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was something
How did
that
he?
he was into. So
You said you did Festival of the Lion King though.
Mhm.
Right? How did he react to that?
Oh, he loved it. He loved it. He was like bouncing up and down on whoever was holding him at the time. It was great. He really liked the guys on the stilts. Those were his favorite. He just like
too bad he
stared in
slept through
awe.
Too bad he slept through the parade at Magic Kingdom. 'Cause he
I
would've
know.
seen right there in front of him.
I know.
now, one other magical moment that we have to really touch on before we kind of start delving into a little bit more of the difficulties and all of that. He was a little bit shaggy when he came down.
Yes.
He was.
Yes, he was.
But he was not shaggy
For
when
a
he left.
6-month-old. Yes, so he got his first haircut at the Harmony Barbershop at Magic Kingdom, and I just have to say they are incredible. Like they gave him first class treatment, and so he has one of those little strawberries on his head. And one of the things I was kind of nervous about him getting his first haircut with anybody was just that spot is really sensitive.
Sure.
And I think Dan was his hairstylist's name, and he noticed it immediately, and he was very attentive, and he immediately like gave Ryan a little light and distracted him. It was an incredible experience. Like I highly recommend it. And they invited the whole family in to come take pictures, and they were awesome.
Now,
Aw.
the question that I have is, let's say we have another one on the horizon or something like that. Would you want to bring a little girl to do the Bippity Boppity Boutique, or do you think that's a little much?
Oh, I just cross my fingers that I don't have a girl that wants to go to Bippity Boppity. Like
So
I would.
I've seen, because my niece, this was years ago, but 'cause my niece is now 20, and
Yeah,
we did this when she was 6. But yeah, that's it was really cool to watch it, but it does take forever.
And like the haircut, he was in and out, like
Was
Yeah.
he?
super speedy. And I was very impressed that he was able to get Ryan to sit still and like just he was incredible with him.
He did
And
look
I gotta-
adorable with his ears.
I got to think that wasn't his first time doing
No.
that kind of thing. So
he like had the certificate, the hat, like everything was ready to go.
Ready.
And when you book, like you say who the appointment's for, so it like says his name and it says 0 for the age, but it doesn't say like we're making a first haircut appointment. There's no way to indicate that when you make the reservation. So they just kind of have to be ready on the fly for whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome though. And then they also gave him his first set of ears, the
Yes.
yarmulke ones. So
Yes.
that's good. It's important that they stay in place. I understand it. It's just that I don't know what else to call it. It looks exactly like it. So that was also precious. Like the whole time spent with him was precious. Let's be honest with you. Any of the difficulties are obviously going to be overwhelmed by all those first times and all of that, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So on the whole, you would say it was worth it to take an infant down?
Oh, without a doubt. Yes.
All right. So that was a lot of magic that we all experienced. Mostly Ashley. But we got to be
I'll
involved.
We
share
were
the
there for
magic.
we
Yeah.
were
Yes.
there for parts of it.
You were part of
Yeah.
the magic.
Exactly.
So, like we were there for his first ride. His first
Yes.
Yeah.
Disney ride. We were there for that.
And that was awesome. It was.
That was awesome.
In the
Right.
ride vehicle, no less.
Yes, we were in the same ride vehicle with y'all. I got some really cute pictures of it.
Some great pictures.
So Amanda can attest that because all I do is sell air conditioning, really. All I have on my phone are pictures of air conditioners and memes that I've
Yep.
uploaded. I
Right.
never take regular photos. And here
He
I was
now has a
looking out
picture
for-
of Ryan.
Oh,
Yeah.
There is a picture of Ryan on his phone. I'm also in it, but it's only like half of my face.
Right.
It's Ryan.
everything's about Ryan now.
Cute baby. I don't know.
He is a cute baby.
Plus, like I said, he's just happy. But even though he was a happy baby, even though he was wonderful, it had to be a little bit more difficult this trip. No?
Oh, for sure. For sure. One, I'm just like an anxious person all the time. And I have anxiety about things with being a mom, like my child crying in a public place, which is totally a normal thing. And I never judge another
100%.
mom for it. But I worry about it when it's me and my kid. So like that was
Sure.
one of the things I was the most nervous about at Disney was like being in a show and Ryan starting to cry and what's my escape plan here? And he did much better than I would have expected. And there were very few moments where I was like, oh, I need help here.
Well,
Well,
that's
you had-
good. No, that's really good.
Yeah.
You had plenty of help with you.
Yes.
It was very, very minimally us. We'll take the credit where credit's due. We watched him for 20 minutes or something. So there was that.
Yeah, we did let y'all ride a ride.
Yes. And I very much enjoyed it.
How important was it to you that your mom and your dad and your brother and your sister-in-law were on this trip with you?
Oh, so important. One, it would have been a lot more difficult for just me and David to take him. But
Oh, I'm sure.
Disney has always been my family's place. And like David and I have done our separate trips, but
Sure.
it all started with my parents and my brother. And so them being a part of it, and we're just so close anyway, that I couldn't have imagined experiencing those things with my son for the first time with them not there.
Yeah.
Like sending
I-
them
I-
pictures of, hey, Ryan's in front of the castle for the first time. Like that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah, I
get
can
that.
see
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of our audience probably has felt or experienced something similar. If they had that opportunity to do that,
Mhm.
with their parents and everything like that. So,
Mhm.
how important was their presence in terms of being able to do stuff that you maybe wanted to do, but didn't think that you could because you had a kid in tow?
So there was only one time that we did rider swap. We did rider swap on Tron. But,
Okay.
my family, they're all annual pass holders. We all go so frequently that there were plenty of times that my mom or my sister-in-law were willing to like sit out with Ryan so that David and I could both ride something. So rider swap definitely is time consuming. Like even though they give you the lightning lane for it, it's still an extra step. So we were
Yeah.
very fortunate that we didn't have to do that as often. And we still didn't get as much done on this trip as we would a trip just me and David or a family trip minus Ryan.
Well, yeah, not for nothing. Your mom is one of the spreadsheet commandos that I make fun of on occasion.
No, that's me now.
I know.
The torch has been passed.
The torch has absolutely been passed. No,
Yes.
your mom said as much. She didn't quite use those words. She was much kinder about it. But she essentially said, no, Ashley's the one who books all the dining reservations. I'm like, oh, she's got the spreadsheet now. Okay. Did in the planning process, did you find it to be more difficult to plan because you had to include an odd number of people, like for dinner reservations or any other type of thing, or did you think? Or what about even like just knowing where stuff is that we haven't ever had to know as Disney people?
So making dining reservations was different. And this is one of those things that I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention to it because it didn't apply to me, or if because I had Ryan as part of my planning party on my Disney experience, that anytime I went to make a reservation, it said, like, make sure you include infants in your number.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, as a former hostess for a Disney restaurant, please, if it is a human and they are taking a seat, and they are taking a space at the table, please.
That's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Because if you had said taking a seat, I would have said, nope, he's not taking a seat. He's taking a child
he's
seat.
taking a high
but
chair.
It's taking
High
space.
But the
if
high
there's
chair
a high
takes
chairs
space.
involved, yes. If there's a high chair involved, if they're a human, if they're a breathing human being, please include them in your count.
Yes.
So we went out to eat twice with y'all, and I feel like Crystal Palace was one of the places that was way more accommodating to all of that. Whereas Raglan Road probably was better for food purposes, but it was probably a bigger pain. Would I have that comparison right?
Yes, absolutely.
Was that the same experience across the board for any of the character meals? Did you find that to be the easiest ones to take him to?
Character meals were very easy. I'm trying to think. This was just last week, but mom brain, I can't even think of where we went for character meals.
Well,
no, the character meals
House.
were very easy.
Yeah. So Tusker House, Crystal Palace for sure. I know y'all.
And I know y'all did Topolino's for breakfast.
We ended up canceling Topolino's. We were supposed to go our last morning. Yep. At that point, I was just so exhausted, and he'd met all of the characters, and then I was like, I want to go see my dog. I don't want to do a character breakfast. I want to go home and get my dog. So we'll do Topolino's another trip.
Fair enough.
That's and y'all did board the dogs down here at Best Friends, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
God, that's another show that I want to do with you now because we gotta. Cooper is my baby. Like he absolutely is. I only want the best for that dog. There are very few humans that I will let touch that dog in terms of taking care of it and stuff like that. But it does have to be somebody I've known for years that and has other dogs, that kind of thing. So, you know what? Let's get off that because that's a whole different. I will absolutely go down. What park was the easiest to be a mom at of an infant like that, and what park was the most difficult? And I just mean in terms of like amenities and that kind of stuff.
Magic Kingdom was the easiest, without a doubt.
Okay.
So, like, I knew going into the trip where all the baby care centers were and everything. The fact that Magic Kingdoms is closer to, it's right by Crystal Palace, by Casey's, by First Aid, all of that. Location wise, super convenient. Yeah. Hollywood Studios is just not the park for an infant. And the fact that their baby care center is all the way up in the front, that's the only baby care center I didn't even like go into at all.
Wow. Okay. So that was the worst.
I was about to say I don't think I've ever like noticed where their baby is. But,
I know it's up there like by Oscars, but that's the extent that I know.
How was Epcot?
Epcot was good.
Okay.
Epcot was good.
Where is that one located? Because it's changed a little bit, and they've also torn down the building that all the moms were sneaking off to when that one was full. So,
It is. I'm blanking on the name of the building.
Is it the Odyssey building?
Yes.
okay. All right. That's sort of
It's
convenient.
about in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anywhere else in the park that would be a better location.
Yeah. That one's
The
about.
only, honestly, the only thing I could think of is that gift shop area that's kind of like in the center of the lake, in between Mexico and Canada and all of that.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
where
right
it is
there,
now is
though.
so close that
It's right. Yeah, it's in that same, because the Odyssey is right across from all of that.
Mhm.
So.
God forbid I was trying to think ideally. My bad. Shit. I'm suggesting they change it. God knows there's enough. We've had enough construction at Epcot, so my God, the walls.
There's no more construction at Epcot.
No.
leave the baby care center alone.
Leave Epcot alone.
Unless you're planning on adding another couple of attractions over there, then it's fine. Adding, not refurbing. Let's not do that. Okay, so Hollywood Studios was awful. Epcot. What about Animal Kingdom? Where was theirs located at?
Animal Kingdoms is right by Starbucks.
Okay.
There's a Starbucks. Okay.
There's just Starbucks in all the parks.
Yeah,
It's on Discovery Island.
Okay, all right. So it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. What would you say you prepped, or how did you prep Ryan for this trip?
Prepping Ryan was really like prepping myself, but I'm a list maker. I made a list of like everything that we use with him on a daily basis that I would need to like pack for him. Things that you don't necessarily think of, like, oh, I need to pack this for a trip, but like saline spray. That boy needs saline spray like every other night. So making lists was super important because I didn't know how to pack for an infant. Like I know how to pack for myself, but packing all of the things for a baby is a lot.
What are things, now that we're talking about packing for the baby, what are things that, new moms going to Disney with their infant that you are like, yes, you definitely need to make sure you bring that with you?
Stroller fan.
Yeah, he really did like that stroller fan.
Oh my gosh, that thing was a lifesaver. And I know they sell like the big Mickey hand one in the park.
And not necessary.
I don't have any experience with that, but the stroller fan that we bought just off Amazon was just easy to attach to anything. We had it on his car seat on the way down. The stroller fan was absolutely must have. Diaper bag, just something to help organize your diaper bag so that you can grab something quickly and you can tell someone else where to grab something easily. Because there were a lot of times that like I knew where things were in my diaper bag, but it was mom or brother or whoever grabbing out of the diaper bag. I'm like, get a burp cloth from here.
Yeah.
Grab wipes from this pocket on this side.
Yeah. Was there anything that you put in your bag, like when you went to the parks, that you were like, you thought you were going to need, but turned out, nah, that's not something, like if you doing this again, you probably wouldn't take these items into the parks at least?
Yeah. What was a little much?
I had packed like the headphones for him to watch fireworks, and he's just too young that we didn't stay in the park for fireworks. So after the first couple days, when I realized we're really not staying for like these loud shows that he needs ear protection for, I took those out. Okay. Obviously, if we were staying for fireworks, it would have been necessary. But just for our itinerary, we didn't need that.
That's fair.
Okay.
You guys stayed over at Fort Wilderness, or excuse me, Wilderness
Copper
Lodge.
Creek. Wilderness Lodge.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What kind of DVC accommodation did y'all get for this trip?
So we were in a 2-bedroom with my parents. We were on the studio side. And then my brother and sister-in-law were in a studio.
Okay.
So we were in a 2-bedroom lock-off.
All right.
But we were very fortunate. We were in a corner room. So basically on the studio side, it was like we got a 1-bedroom.
Oh, nice.
So we had, like, when you walked in, there was like the little kitchenette area and then a living room area with a TV, and that was where we put the pack and play for Ryan. And then the bed where David and I were was like off in a corner, like a separate room, and we had two TVs. So it really felt like we got a larger accommodation than we were supposed to.
Where the fuck was this when we stayed there?
I know, right? You just need to stay in Copper Creek next time.
I mean, are we listening, Disney? The next time, I'm just saying, Wilderness Lodge GM, hear us out, Okay, so staying at Wilderness Lodge, how would you rate that in terms of resorts that you've stayed at that would have been baby friendly? Like, was this the top of the list to you?
It was pretty high up there.
Okay.
The only accommodation that we had tried to switch to Bay Lake, and there just wasn't availability for the accommodations that we needed. Bay Lake obviously would have been convenient to walk into Magic Kingdom, which was where we spent most of our time this trip.
Yeah,
would have been really convenient to get on the monorail. The big thing that I was thinking of in terms of accommodations was convenience to getting to the parks. And how much do I have to do with the stroller to get to the parks?
Fair.
Well,
fair.
Then let's go ahead and ask the anti-bus question. How much of a pain in the ass was it to do the buses to the parks?
We avoided the bus as much as we could. To Animal Kingdom, what did we do to Animal Kingdom? We were going to take the bus to Animal Kingdom, but we had a breakfast reservation, and the bus was going to be super slow. So we made a last-minute decision. We're driving.
Fair
so
enough.
Didn't do the bus to Animal Kingdom. Did the boat
That's
to
not a
Magic.
terrible park.
Yeah.
Did I see him ride a tram, by the way? Did you guys just go out into the parking lot?
No.
Okay.
He did not ride a tram.
I could have sworn I saw a picture of him on the tram, but whatever.
I don't know what you saw. Not the tram. No, we did ride the bus. I think we rode the bus to Epcot. And we purposely chose non-peak times to ride the bus. Like the day we went into Epcot, we went in closer to lunchtime. So 10, 11. Okay. So getting on the bus was no problem. Didn't have to deal with folding up the stroller with a million people and navigating all of that. And then when we left, it looked like the bus was getting really full and then it was standing room only. And we probably could have fit on that bus, but we purposely just kind of held back and we're like, no, we're going to wait for the next bus because I just don't want to deal with it.
No,
I get that. Which would you say was the easiest mode of transportation then for
you? Boat, depending on what kind of boat was coming. The friendship boats, you don't have to fold up the stroller. Those other tiny boats, you have to fold up the stroller and you have to sit in a certain part of the boat with the stroller. So if somebody else was already there, it was kind of awkward because the cast members will tell you go sit in the back and keep your stroller here.
So you're talking about the frenemy boats that go from the resort to Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
Well, if the other ones are friendship boats, I'm just
Oh God. Oh.
Does that not track? I feel like that tracks, right?
No,
I guess so.
It makes sense.
I'm mad that it
makes sense.
Yep.
Mad that it makes sense, but it makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. What other? Since you've stayed at a lot of the resorts that are out there, is there a different resort that you are thinking might have been easier or that may have been kind of close in terms of accessibility for you?
I mean, other than Bay Lake, I would have loved Bay Lake, but I have a soft spot for Copper Creek and Wilderness Lodge. I'm really glad that we couldn't get into Bay Lake because that was just okay, this is magical for Ryan's first trip. This is one of my favorite Disney memories. But Bay Lake definitely would have been very convenient.
Fair enough.
I think when he's older, the Epcot resorts would be super convenient. And that's where I prefer to stay if it's a Disney adults trip. But as far as where we are, absolutely, the Magic Kingdom resorts are the way to go.
Speaking of the resort, because I know that y'all would go back because he obviously needed naps. It is really hot down here now. Yeah, y'all went back to the resort. Did y'all do anything like around the resort with him, or did y'all just like hang out in the room when you would go back? Like, did you go to the pool?
most part, we would hang out. For the most part, we hung out in the room. He's too young to like really enjoy the pool and splash pad and all of that. And to be honest, it was so hot that I didn't want to mess with swimsuits and sunscreen and all of that for him.
Sense.
We did go down to like Roaring Fork and we ate down there like by the pool area ish.
Okay.
But we didn't do a whole lot of resort things. There was one night that Ryan had fallen asleep in the park, and I think he had actually fallen asleep in my arms, not even in the stroller. And so I'm like walking back from the boat, holding him like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to take a break now. And so we stopped in the rocking chairs in the lobby just so I could I could rest. Then we walked to the elevator and back up to the room. But I was like, okay, this is my rest stop.
I mean, he also fell asleep in your arms at Crystal Palace too. So
yes. The boy learned to fall asleep in a lot of different places.
Okay. So that's kind of another question that it's a weird question. I know, I'm sure, but did you prep him with like sensory stuff? I know that you love Disney YouTube and stuff like that. Did you like do ride through videos or any of that kind of stuff? Did you acclimate him to the sounds of the park or anything?
No, I mean, like we watched Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So he knew Mickey. And he has like his Mickey Mouse plush.
I think your mom told me, like when she was watching him, she did like a few of those types of videos with him.
Yeah. But he is like, he doesn't understand what he's watching enough for that to like have affected anything. Yeah. So
I don't know. I think that raising him young is a thing. So it wouldn't shock me if
I listened to Disney YouTube. Like that was my maternity leave. It was just Disney videos on in the background. So I mean, he's had that exposure.
Yeah.
That's all he did. Okay, he's fine.
Was there any? I don't know how you would have done this, but was there any prep for the like meeting the characters? Again, I don't know.
Other than his Mickey plush, no.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was one of those things that, and I knew that at his age that like he can start getting stranger anxiety, and I was prepared that meeting characters may not go well, and he did great. The only time he got fussy with characters was really just like he was fussy about something else and he was just like ready to be out of that situation. But he didn't ever have any like negative reaction to a character.
Yeah. That's what we saw at Crystal Palace, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, he smiled every time.
With Tigger. Especially with Tigger.
Yeah. And I mean, like he has plushes that like he plays with his rhino plush that you guys got him. So like it's
his namesake.
He knows the format.
All right. So, being a mom is awesome. I take it when it comes to like all these magical moments and everything like that, right? But if life has taught me anything, life is nothing but a series of trade-offs. Nothing's like 100% perfect. And I have to imagine there was a meltdown or two with Ryan. Was that the case? How could you mitigate it? Or did you just kind of know exactly what to do ahead of time to cut it off?
Oh, I did not know exactly what to do all the time. For sure. No. The heat really got to him by the end of the trip. The hardest parts with like where Ryan is developmentally is like he wants independence, but he doesn't have the mobility to be independent. So he was in the stroller or in a high chair or being held a lot, and he's starting to learn how to crawl. So he didn't have like the amount of time that he could do that while on a vacation in a hotel room in a theme park. So like, you could tell he was getting frustrated because he wanted to like get down, move around more than he could. So those were like some of the meltdowns, was just like he was sick of being contained. Whereas a child that's older can do a little more. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but that also means that they can run away from you and run into
which is its own challenge.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah, I would know nothing about that.
That's a story for another time.
Oft-told story, as it turns out, on this channel. But were there any attractions that he reacted kind of poorly to, or for that matter, were there any that he reacted super positively to? I suppose too.
Ooh, he loved Figment. Like loved
Ooh,
Figment.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think he did get sick of, like, he liked Muppets. He liked being in Muppets. I think we did the Vacation Fun shorts in Hollywood Studios,
Okay.
and he was kind of over it by the end of that. And what else did we do? We did Philhar Magic, which he liked surprisingly, because he can't see the 3D, and like even though I attempted to do 3D glasses for him, he just tried to eat them.
He could probably sense his cousin Uncle Bobby's efforts inside of that theater, so he felt it.
But no, there weren't any attractions that were like set him off or anything.
Interesting. Okay.
Well,
Was there ones?
Yeah.
Good.
Was there any that he was just like super excited about while he was on them?
And honestly, the most excited he was for Festival of the Lion King.
There you go. That's okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that you were going to say the Mexican boat ride, but I don't know.
He was
why.
asleep when the family did that. So we met Donald instead.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
A lot of things on a vacation with a 7-month-old are determined by if he's sleeping or not.
I was just impressed because we watched the Parade of Magic Kingdom with y'all, and we were like right there at the front, and he slept through that whole loud fire breathing dragon parade. Like the fire breathing happened almost right in front of us, and he was completely slept through it. It was when y'all went to go ride Big Thunder, and we took them by the time we got over to where we were with him, that shady area, he was awake at that point.
And it's funny because he's an okay sleeper. I mean, recovering from vacation, not a good sleeper at all, but it's not like before we had gone to Disney that I would have told you, oh yeah, he's going to be able to sleep in the parks. Like, I'm not worried about it. I really didn't know if he was going to nap in his stroller at all, but he impressed me a lot.
And how was that? Like, because I know that there were a couple of times you made comments about how, this is way past, we're out way past his normal bedtime. How has this kind of messed with him since y'all got back?
He's all over the place right now. We're recovering. I mean, today is the first day that I'm like, okay, we're close back to normal, and we came back on Sunday, so we've been back for like 4 or 5 days now.
Yeah.
So it's been an adjustment, because at Disney he was just like taking little 20-minute, 30-minute naps here and there. Like, I couldn't tell you the number of naps he took on any given day at Disney. Yeah. Whereas at home, I can tell you every single day, he had 2 naps today. He had 3 naps today. And I can plan it out. Disney, it's like, I'm not even going to try to keep you on a schedule. Wherever you fall asleep, do it.
Was there any parks that were more friendly to that type of quiet environment than others?
All of the baby care centers have like a quiet nursing room. Okay. And like, I'm not nursing, but I took him into the nursing room at one point, like when I was giving him his bottle, because he was just so distracted and overstimulated. I think any of the baby care centers were good for that.
Okay. So the reason why I'm asking is I remember going over to Innovations West Innovations West, where before they kind of started using it more as a character meet and greet area, and they didn't really have anything over in that building from Innovations anyway. So that was just kind of like the mom hangout center. It felt like, and I wasn't sure if there was something similar to that now? Because I don't know. Has that
I had kind of like
other
looked.
crematorium opened up?
I would say like I've looked at other like quiet places throughout the parks. Like I kind of knew in any park besides the Baby Care Center, like where I could have gone. Storybook
Okay.
Circus has that great little charging area, right by Pete's Silly Sideshow. That area we went to multiple times. In Epcot, in the Land Pavilion was
Had you
great.
stepped foot inside of Storybook Circus before going with Ryan?
I think I had at one point.
I couldn't tell
Just
you
to
the
do
last time
it.
I was over there.
I think
Normally,
I've
not.
gone over there. I don't think I've gone over there since they have completed it. Like I
Mhm.
was over there like right after like Dumbo like moved over there. I've
Mhm.
been in the gift shop over there, but I don't think I've been over there since it was like done.
There's
I
some
went over
things.
there really. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's okay. Go ahead.
I had been over there more like I went to the parks twice when I was pregnant, and there are a lot of similarities between pregnancy in the parks and having a baby in the parks, and so I like spent more time in Storybook Circus and Fantasyland and like all of that when I was pregnant than I would have before. So like yeah, I had done Dumbo last year.
Yeah.
Could not imagine. I really couldn't. To be fair, the reason why I don't really go over that way is because I have a weird thing where I don't feel comfortable as someone of my stature just walking around without another little child to have to also watch after. I don't care
Fair enough.
if I'm with Amanda or not. I feel like I'm being creepy if I just walk over there.
Mhm.
So hopefully there wasn't any sort of creepiness over there because I just don't think that anybody's going over there and going, yes, the barnstormer, you know.
No.
No.
um is there any attractions that you wish you could have taken Ryan on that you didn't get to?
There were a few, and most of the ones that we didn't get to were more like we wanted a break from the parks or Ryan was sleeping. Like Ryan didn't ride Pirates. I don't know how he would have reacted to Pirates. That's the one that I kind of question would he have been scared of, but he was asleep. So mom sat out with him.
Fair
So we didn't do
enough.
Pirates. We didn't do Navi, which I think doing Navi would have been cool with him. So there are a few,
He
but
would have
nothing that I'm
glowed.
like heartbroken about.
He would have definitely glowed on Navi though, like
Yeah.
just because of all the black lights. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
But
and
the
all the
thing,
screens. But
yeah. The thing is that like I know this is not Ryan's only trip and
oh yeah,
we're planning on next year. So next
Yeah.
year like all of the things that I didn't get to do with him this
He'll be a
year,
little
I
bit
can make a
older.
priority
Yeah.
and he's going to be more aware of next year.
Yeah.
do you think this was the right first time age to bring him, or do you wish you would have waited, or wish you would have gone sooner?
I think I can see pros and cons to earlier or later, but I mean, he had a magical time. Like I know that's
Oh
so
yeah,
cliche, but he had a magical time, and I think his reaction to the characters was great. Going with a baby that's younger, like if I could have had him at 3 months down there and I could have worn him, probably could have taken him on more rides while I was wearing him. Him sleeping in the stroller was what kind of like kept him from getting on a lot of things that he didn't ride. So if I could have kept him sleeping and worn him, I could have gone on more attractions with him. So that would have
fair
been a
enough.
benefit of going younger.
But to your
A
point,
little bit older would be easier.
he would have recognized it a little bit. See, I'm genuinely worried about like a kid running off or something.
Mhm.
Yes, he's going to be found. I'm not concerned about losing the kid forever or something. But it's that kind of panic has to be
Mhm.
horrifying. So
Oh
I don't
yeah.
want to have to deal with that. So
Yeah.
all right. So on the whole, feels like this trip could have gone a hell of a lot worse, in
Oh
your
yeah.
opinion.
Mhm.
Is there
For sure.
anything in is there anything in particular that you would recommend to new moms or first time moms or any of that kind of stuff? Whether it's like places to go or things to bring or something on Amazon that like saved your ass. Like what would you say is the hacks that you need to let others know of?
So I've read that traveling overnight with babies is so much easier. We didn't do that because we had the dogs with us, and so like that logistically wouldn't have worked for us. But I think if I could have done that, him sleeping in the car would have been a lot easier. Traveling down there, we started out, so it was me and my husband, and then Ryan and the dog. And the dog is high maintenance and has her own car seat, and you can judge me for that all you want. It's true. It's true.
Well, she's also tiny. She's also
very tiny.
Like, I can see why she needs a car seat. She is a super tiny dog. How much does that dog weigh?
She's 10 pounds. I think she just broke 11.
You fattened her up. Okay.
So just to set the scene of what our car looks like. So we started out the drive leaving Atlanta with, I was driving, then David was in the passenger seat, and then Ryan is behind the driver's side, and then Winnie, the dog, is in the back seat on the passenger side. So that was how we started, and then Ryan was asleep for like the first little bit of the drive, and then when he woke up, he was like not having it. The stroller fan we attached to the car seat, and that thing, I should get like some sort of endorsement for this stroller fan. Like, seriously. But we ended up switching, so the dog rode in the front seat and one of us rode in the back seat with Ryan the whole time. Which I know sounds like, oh my gosh, you just like totally catered to your baby, but catering to my baby is also catering to my own needs at this point.
That's not what it sounds like. It sounds like you catered to the dog by putting her up in the front is what you did.
You know, she did love it. I won't even lie, she loved it.
Yeah, our giant golden doodle who often runs around fondly back behind Amanda. He's not a front seat dog. He's not even like he's a weirdo. He doesn't even like to sit on the bench the whole time. He likes to get on the floor.
He likes to be in the floor in the back.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not
between
great.
The seats. He likes to get in the floor.
Yeah, but I will say, like, having an adult in the back seat with the baby was huge because one, it helped him fall asleep when he needed to. When he was awake, we could entertain him. And we didn't want him to sleep the entire time in the car because if he did, we were going to be totally screwed up with our nights. So just like having somebody back there with him was necessary.
Did you have to drive or did you have to stop at certain intervals or anything like that?
You know, they say that like when you're traveling with a baby, you should stop every 2 hours, which I think we did roughly, but it wasn't like intentional.
Nobody set a timer on their iphone and then had to go off and we're like, all right, next exit or anything.
No, really.
Well, also,
our stops,
South Georgia gets hard to do that.
Mm-hmm. But we stopped when we needed to for our own food, gas, whatever. Having one of us in the back seat made it so that like we could give him his bottle and we didn't have to stop to give him a bottle. Like I am regimented on when he gets his food and stuff, but we didn't have to change that in the car.
For those who are driving out there, maybe here's some decent advice. We don't have to cover like South Georgia or something like that, but maybe 75 or the Turnpike or any of that kind of stuff. Was there any particular exit that you were like, oh, thank God we stopped here because this has a Wawa or this has a cool place for a rest area? Like, is there any of those that you'd recommend?
I mean, we stopped at Buc-ee's.
There is a Buc-ee's in Warner Robins, Georgia.
We did.
And there's going to be a Buc-ee's in Ocala.
And it's going to be the largest Buc-ee's.
Yeah. So take that.
And I will tell you, Buc-ee's in the morning driving down to Disney was great. Bucky's driving
Coming back.
home on Sunday afternoon, and we stopped at like maybe 3:00 on Sunday.
Oh.
That was like Disney New Year's crowds at that Bucky's.
Yeah. Oh no,
It was
that's all there is to do.
insanity.
It's insane.
That is like the hot spot in town whenever a Bucky's comes in, because it's never
Mhm.
like Daytona has one and St. Augustine has one. So, but those are not anywhere near the busiest
Mhm.
Bucky's I've ever been in. Like
Yeah.
that Warner Robins one.
That
I
Warner
drove back
Robins
to
one
it.
is.
Driving back to Atlanta, like I always stop there to get gas and let the dog out and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And God, it's a madhouse. It really is.
Mhm.
Just ugh.
Well, I mean, until the one in Ocala opens, that is the only one on 75 between here and Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, because the next one's in Cartersville, Georgia, north of Atlanta.
Yep.
Well, obviously, I can't wait until the Ocala Bucky's comes in, but you know that's neither here nor there.
That's gonna be great during football season.
Yeah, no idea.
So we stopped at Bucky's, but like I don't like stopping and using changing tables in just like a gas station or a rest stop or anything. So like that was one of the great things about having my parents and us caravanning, was that like if I needed to go to the bathroom, I would go in, somebody else was with the baby, and we would change him in the back of the car. I was like, I'm not putting him on a changing table in a gas station.
It can't be sanitary, it feels like.
No.
I feel like Bucky's can be sanitary, but
yeah.
And Wawa, I think that those are your safe bets. The occasional quick trip, depending on what part of town you're in and stuff. That could be.
It was 7-Elevens.
Yeah, it really is station to station or location to location. You gotta weed that out a little bit. And if your eyes, if you believe what your eyes tell you, let's put it that way. When it comes to gas stations, if it looks ew, it's ew.
Yep.
Okay, so is there any specific Amazon products? I know we've talked about the stroller fan, but is there any other products out there that you specifically would recommend?
I ordered some like packing cubes that I ended up using for the diaper bag that made things really easy and compact, because we tried to use, like, I had my little belt bag or my lounge fly, but we really tried to minimize the number of bags that we took. So the diaper bag became what would have been my park bag. So it had like all of baby's essentials, but also like our fans and chargers and everything. So like anything to keep organization in a park bag, I highly recommend.
On that note,
now
go ahead, Amanda.
So, now Ryan is teething at this point.
Yes.
Like his
Very
bottom teeth have come through. His top teeth were almost through.
So close.
What kinds, because other parents, especially if they bring a baby in similar age, are going to be dealing with that. What are things, because it's hot already, he's already miserable because of the heat, then you add the fact that he's got this pain. What are some things with that kind of saved you in the parks when he was
so we packed like all of our normal medicines that we would have on hand for him, which is really just infant Tylenol. We had Benadryl, but we've never had to use it, so it was
that's good
there. So we had the Benadryl, any of like his favorite teethers we made sure we had, and then we had passy clips that we ended up tying more to toys than to pacifiers, and just clipped those onto the stroller, onto his bib, which was really important because he has a Mickey plush that of course he dropped, and some nice lady came and brought it to mom after Ryan dropped it. But we did try to, after that, we're like, okay, we've got to make sure that anything that he has with him in the stroller can be attached in some way. So pacifier clips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Necessity.
Now, as we've talked about, being a mom's awesome. It absolutely is, right? We're not saying you want to go back in time or any of that kind of stuff. But I've known you for too long. You've got to have like something that you're missing, like from being a Disney adult, not being a mom. Is there anything on this trip that you felt like, I wish I could go do this, but I got this kid?
I had gone into it knowing it was going to be a different trip, and so I have always heard, and I've never taken this advice because I just haven't needed to, but have your priorities for a Disney trip.
Sure.
And I had priorities of Tron and Guardians, and I got to do both of those things. So I was good. But I love the thrill rides. And so like I wish that I could have done more of those. I go so often that I'm fine. I'm not like heartbroken
Sure.
that it didn't happen this trip.
Yeah.
But
miss Space
yeah,
Mountain,
I
but it's
wish I wish that I could like ride the coasters, and I got to ride everything that I like really wanted to,
About to say,
but
I
just
know
to be
you
able to
rode
do
Big
it
Thunder
guilt
Mountain.
free. What?
I know you rode Big Thunder Mountain, so
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we got to watch Ryan for that time.
Yes.
that was my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
you know,
I was like, I know your mom was like, "Are you sure?" Yes, I will take your baby.
Let me watch
You go
the
ride the ride.
baby. I wouldn't say
Like,
that to just anybody though. Let me
her
take
baby
the
fever over here
Like,
is higher.
I was just like, I
than the
will
temperature.
watch this child. Like I will, and like I ended up like, because he did not want to be in that stroller after he woke up. He was
Nope.
not about that
No.
life. So I ended
Nope.
up carrying him for quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure
Yeah,
it was helpful because like I noticed like when we were eating with y'all, you know, it made it a lot easier for y'all to eat because somebody could hold
Mhm.
Ryan, or you know,
Mhm.
like when you got your Dole Whip, I was like, I will hold him, you eat your Dole Whip.
Mhm. Yep.
You know, that kind of thing.
That is another hard
Yeah.
part about eating at Disney, is just like he doesn't like being in the high chair all the time, especially because he's not eating solids routinely. Like he's
Sure.
eating purees twice a day at this point. So like him sitting in a high chair for the most part is
He's
just to
just
keep him
sitting.
contained
Right.
so
Yeah.
somebody else can eat. So that part was definitely a challenge.
No, that's fair. Do you think that again, to give full kudos to your mom, your dad,
Mhm. Oh,
what
for
are
sure.
their grandfather parent names?
Uh,
Let's
Mimi and Pop.
Mimi and Pop. Okay. And of course, your brother, Steven, who I think we've mentioned a couple of times on the show, but
His
maybe I'll
wife.
drag him on one of these days.
Oh,
I like his
God.
wife better. Yeah. Let's bring her on. Um, having them around, like, I know that you guys got to go to Trader Sam's and acquire your black
Mhm.
pearl.
Yes.
Did you guys get to have like a full date night or a full break or any of that kind of stuff? And how important was doing that, something like that for yourselves on this trip?
It was great because, you know, before, for your viewers, we had planned that we were going to do a monorail pub crawl.
Yes.
And then I got
Yep,
pregnant.
we were.
So that was like something that we had
Yep.
planned for a Disney trip and then didn't get to do. And so we did a mini version of that as our date night.
Yeah, I was gonna take off and all that stuff for that
I know.
that whole thing too. I
Yeah.
was gonna make sure that I
Yep.
could like be hungover as hell the next day, and I don't really
Yep.
drink that often.
My bad.
anymore, so
It's
fine.
worth
Well,
it.
yeah, I guess.
I mean,
you
yeah.
know.
A cute baby did come out of that. So yeah.
Yes.
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 Cute
So our
freaking
date
baby.
night for Disney was a mini version of the
Sure.
monorail pub crawl,
Okay.
which was good.
Okay. Yeah.
But, you know, like I thought, okay, I'm really looking forward to this because this was something I wanted to do before we had kids and then I didn't get to. And I still enjoyed it. I had a great time, would do it again. But I was like, okay, I'm ready to see Ryan now. I miss him.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
certain that as Ryan gets a little bit older, he can join all of us on this pub crawl because they do allow children into bars for some reason.
Yes.
So we'll bring him along when we do this. He can be the designated monorail driver for that trip.
Oh
So,
God.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Poor
Ashley.
Ryan.
You have done wonderful for your first appearance.
Oh, thank
I hope
you.
the first
Yay.
of a few anyway. We're not going to demand all of your schedule or anything like that. You do have to be a mom and stuff. So,
Well,
but anytime that you want to come back, you are always welcome. So you do.
Well, this was fun, and I love Disney and talking about Disney, and I love you guys.
There you go.
So,
Thank you.
And we love you.
good times.
Yeah. Somebody out there likes me. I know it makes me feel nice. It does. Is there anything as a mother, or is there anything personally that you would like to promote or bring any sort of light to? If not, no worries. I don't care. You do you. Boom. Awesome. Glad to hear that we don't have to do any sort of plug-ola. That makes it even better. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. We genuinely appreciate it. This is kind of a crossover episode between the Cynics on Disney podcast and the Nodcast, which is released Friday most Fridays anyway, at 4 p.m. Magic Kingdom time. That is West Coast time for all of you California people.
That's East Coast time.
Excuse
We are
me,
not
East
on the
Coast
West Coast.
time. It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
That is East Coast time for everyone on the West Coast.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Those California folks having the melatonin gummies. Anyway, so also make sure that you're checking us out at notclub33.com. So check out notclub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates that we do. In addition, make sure that you check us out on social media at notclub_33 on all those social media platforms. Amanda, this here podcast can be found on social media. So where would that be located?
Yes. You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. And you can find us everywhere else. So it's Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Pinterest at Cynics on Disney.
And make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel and do the same thing on your podcast platforms and wherever you're listening to us on. Give us a rating, give us a review, all that good stuff. It gets us more exposed to all the listeners out there. And especially since we're on video, I don't want to expose myself in any other way. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening and have yourselves a magical fucking day.